Welcome, old friends, and welcome, new friends. I'm glad you're here. This is the beginning of Defemorember 2024 with Barbara over at 49 Dragonflies and Louisa Heinzel. I'm going to link both their channels down in the description box, and you can find their playlists under each one of them. And there has been one video they did together, and it's a kind of a question and answer type of a deal. The next one they each did is they are making a journal to send to the other person to work on for Defemorember. I have found not one, but two swap partners. So I need to make a couple of journal covers so that then I can come in and put the signatures in. First, our Bible verse of the day is Psalm 91, verse 4. The Lord will cover you with his feathers. He will shelter you with his wings. Good one, good one. I'm going to set it right over here so I can see it for a while. With Barbara and Louisa, what they're doing is they are going to make a journal that's, theirs is going to be 9.5 inches by 14.5. So 9.5 this way by 14.5 this way. They're going to do 4 signatures with 5 pages in each signature. The spine will be 7.5 centimeters. They are using different paper than US size paper. So mine is going to end up being approximately 9 by 14.5 instead of 9.5, because I'm going to kind of go off of this US letter size printer paper that I've got here. I went to the Dollar Tree. They have this fusible interfacing. And in the package, what is that? Well, it is this. I went ahead and cut this so that it is 14.5 inches this way and a little over 9 inches this way, just to give me a little bit of leeway. And I've got over here, I've got my iron turned on high, no steam, because I want to make like Barbara did. I want to make a paper bag journal that is flexible. What I'd like to do is use some neutral fabric scraps. I do have my coffee here, and I've got a bin here of different scraps that I'm going to be pulling from. And the reason I'm going with neutrals is because that way the receiver of the journal can then do any kind of decorating they'd like in any colors they'd like. We have a smooth side and we have a kind of bumpy side. It's got itty bitty little bumps. That is the glue type stuff that's going to fuse the material to this. And so what you do is you would put your fabric on this side and then iron it. But when you go to iron, you do want a piece of something over top so that these glue thingies, anything maybe showing through, doesn't get onto your iron. I've got some of this, and it's not necessarily scraps, but we're going to make it into some scraps. I do want to know, are any of you already planning to do Defemorember? Do you already have a swap partner to swap journals with? If not, you could comment below in this video, and maybe some of you can find partners that way. My suggestion is type where you are. Like, are you in the UK? Are you in the United States? Because I do know that shipping costs more when you're going from country to country. So it might be beneficial to stick with what country you're in. Now, do you have to have a swap partner? No. It's just, it's fun that way. You will get a journal that you don't have any idea. It'll be a surprise when you open it. And it is fun to work in a journal someone has made you already. So how do we do this? Well, again, remember the rough side is up. And all we do, well, first, keep this in mind. When it's folded into a journal, this here is gonna be the cover of our journal. So when we unfold it, the right-hand side is what will be the front cover. So just to keep in mind if that matters to you, but it doesn't really to me. So I'm just gonna take these very neutral fabrics and I'm going to lay them down and I'm gonna make sure that they go over the edge of this just a tad bit, and I'm going to overlap them a bit, which means that some of the little edges will not fuse to this. So we come back later and either glue them down with some Fabri-Tac, or we can go around and sew things together. And now I'll just take a piece of, is this big enough? Oh no, this is not big enough. Let's try this one. It's not totally big enough, but almost. So, with the iron, we want to count. Notice that when I move the iron, I'm picking it up and moving it. If you slide it around, you might move the pieces that are underneath. They are, generally speaking, stuck down so that you could pick it up and look, nothing falls off. But notice there are pieces not quite stuck down. What you can do is then come in with your Fabri-Fix and just add a little glue. Now, if you do not intend to do any sewing on this, I would check every little piece and make sure that each piece that is not thoroughly stuck down has glue on it. I do intend to come and do some wonky stitching. And what I mean is I will go around the edge with a straight stitch, and then I will come through and just do some random stitching through here just to give it some texture and personality. Now, I do have this butterfly that I was thinking would be really cool if it was on the front of the journal somewhere. I plan to do a closure. It'll probably go somewhere in this area. So I don't think I want the butterfly in that area, because I was thinking right there. Anyway, to get other things on here, what you do is just give it some glue. Now, if you don't have any Fabri-Tac, I'll tell you what, any PVA glue will work. You can even water down a little bit. Each one is going to get this little, it's very thin and really soft. And you see the textured pieces? I actually am thinking right there. So I will give it a little glue. You could come in and if things don't look quite right to you, like maybe you don't like all of this, well, you could come in and add pieces to it. You know, like maybe we could put that there. That'll work. The other thing is you could add laces to this and give it even more texture, which I do plan to do. But what I mean is, you know, little daintier pieces. And I think what I'll do is just give it a little glue to hold it down. And maybe that can go there. Oh my goodness, look what I found. Oh, how fun would that be? But then I found this as well. Oh my goodness. Well, if I used this, see, it is connected together. I would need to cut it, but then let's do that. Let's just cut it here because it could be used as a closure. I think it is long enough. So if it was put on right about there, that is centered, and the ends hang off just enough for it to be tied as a closure. So this will set aside, because I still do want to put a few things on there. I have this. So these pieces of things are vintage. I went to an antique shop and they did have some vintage laces and goodies. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's yummy. What if we cut a chunk out of it? Maybe cut it a little more. This could go down here. Yeah. And wait, let's make sure, because would this look good up there? Oh, yes. And I will put some glue just to kind of help hold it down, because again, remember, I'm gonna sew. Oh, I love it. But then when you're making a journal for someone else, it's like, oh, but are they gonna love it? And of course, you know, all these edges will need to be trimmed, but I'll do that after glue dries. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's yummy. Also, I wonder, you know, I could use this for the other journal to go as the closure. Ah, yes. Okay, so set that aside. Oh, this is fabulous too. Wow. Isn't that neat? Tell me when to stop. When you think it has enough. I just am having a ball looking through this. So I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this glue dry. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and just do some random sewing. And then I'll come back because I do want to show you what I'm talking about, making that tie closure on there, as well as I do have some fun things that I would like to add to the front and back as well. But I don't want to do that till the closure's there. Do you know what I'm talking about? All right, so I took it to the sewing machine and I did a straight stitch around the edges, and then I literally just wonky, just to make sure all these little pieces are stuck down. Let me show you what I mean by wonky. You see? Now this ugly side is going to be covered up because we're going to glue it onto a paper bag. So it doesn't matter that it's funny looking. This is my spine, you see? So now what we can do is we can take this here, and I want to take the two edges because I want to find the middle. And let's see, that's the middle. I want to put it approximately right there because that's approximately the middle of the spine. And that means that is where this is going to go. Now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine. I went ahead and sewed it down the center and across so that this stays, so it's not going to pop up when you've got it folded and used as a cover. The back side is also down, but this would be the front cover. And look, you can put something in there. And now this here can be used to tie it closed. And I actually don't know that we need to do a paper bag. I think that if we did another coat of fabric on the inside, say maybe something plain, you know, just one, like, just one fabric. I'm not going to use this one, but that's for an example. I think that might be thick enough. I'm not entirely sure yet because I don't know if I want a hidden spine or if I want it to be shown. That's something I'm going to have to think about. My thought was, this was fun. I might do a couple more and offer them for sale in case somebody does not want to make their own journal or they don't have anybody to swap with. Then you could purchase one for me. All you have to do is send me an email. But I did want to do a little more in this. I'm just going to take a book and plop it here. just to kind of give me a little bit of an idea of the front, because I had a couple of those little, fun pieces that I wanted to add to the top. And now that I look at it, that one is not quite right. We don't want pink, but I really like it the way it is. I suppose I could add a little something to the spine. You see something more? Maybe I'll give this a little glue. So we've got that. And then what about this? Ooh, yay. I may even come and add some hand-sewn buttons in here, just here and there. I decided against hand sewing them. I glued them on and now they have to dry. So while we wait for them to dry, I actually was kind of thinking I'm wanting some splatters. So why don't we get some gathered twigs? All right, I'm going to get this dipped in there some. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. I have, ooh, ground espresso. That's always a good one. All right. Let's see if we can get a little ground espresso on there. It got it a little bit. But I don't know, can you see? I don't know if you can see that very well or not. It just gives it a little bit of extra oomph. A little extra character. I'd like more. And a little bit of walnut stain. And then give it a little water. Okay, that's not quite so white anymore, which is good. But now we need to let it dry. All right, they're dry. I ended up with 4 instead of 2. And, whew, wow, that was a lot. So they do not have their innards yet. I do know what I'm doing, and I do have the paper set aside for signatures, but I'm not doing that yet. Not enough time. So there is this one that does have this pocket here. And then we have this one, and they're all the same size. And of course, this one also doesn't have its innards yet. And this is another belly band. And then this one has a whole cover done in lots of different colored scraps. And then I thought that is too bright. So I did put a layer over top of it. This one, the inside is done. I went ahead and went for it. But that means that this one, the signatures will actually not be hidden for sure. They will have to be shown on the spine. But it's got this as a tie closure. And the blue lace does stick out a little. But do you see how there's colors in there? And the final one, I decided that this paper bag here is going to be the inside of this one. But I glued it together. I'm waiting for it to dry because I am going to go ahead and do some stitching and other fun things before adding it to this. So this one, let me just open this one up. This one here, what I did was I did some colors and some neutrals, but then I went over it. I don't know, can you see? I used some Distress Oxide and I think I used Walnut Stain and Salvage Patina. And I did some gold splattering. And that will end up being the spine there. And over top of this, I also put gesso in some spots and some matte medium. That way, when I did spray it with the gold flicks and the different salvage patina and ground espresso and walnut stain, it would kind of take the colors differently in different spots. So, yeah, that one will get this on the inside. But again, it's not done. I just really like that. It is a bag from the beach. Yeah. All right. So those are the ones I have done. I have 2 that I will be shipping out once they have signatures in them. And I am going to actually debate letting my swap partners choose their own. I'm going to ask, do you want a surprise or do you want to choose one out of the 4? And that means there will be 2 left over if anybody would like to purchase them. Just give me a email, shout out, comment below, and we'll get the details figured out. Like, let's say you want this one because it didn't go anywhere and you want it left as is so you can do the inside. Great, let me know. Or maybe you want me to totally complete it and put the pages in and everything for you. Great, just let me know. We can figure all that out. So for now, happy Defemmerember journal prep day. Let me know in the comments if you have decided whether or not you will be participating in this year's Defemmerember. And until later, we will come back and we'll put the signatures in together, I think. I'm fairly certain. But we gotta wait till Barbara and Louisa come out with another journal video. Until then, bye.